right, hello, and welcome to another episode of The Spice on the Hill, a dedicated podcast for Dulwich Hamlet women and the reserves where we bring a lot of good vibes, friendly, informative, and a lot of spicy stuff with a kick. I'm very grateful to pass the first trial by fire, and it really shows how much this podcast really means a lot to me as a fun project monthly. So you hear more stuff like this, like more spicy stories than ever. I'm your host, Johnny Hourigan, and this is episode number 2. Yes, that's right, episode number 2. This is Oktoberfest and Fireworks. As a pun reference to Oktoberfest, where we encountered what's happened in October, and fireworks, whichever you want to put it, with sparks of joy or fiery spice. Actually, I love that. I am joined by some new guests right here. So let's introduce our first guest is our American spicy friend who wears number 12 on the back, and we'll find out sooner or later how did she end up in South London. Is Miss Erin Corrigan. Hello, Erin.
Hey Johnny, how are you? Thanks for
Um,
having me.
I'm not too bad, Erin. Well, I'm very good. I'm very glad to have you on board. And don't worry, people. If you notice why her surname sounds familiar, it's because it rhymes with my surname, Corrigan. Corrigan, Corrigan.
Oregon and Corrigan.
Yeah,
Unbeatable.
yes, Irish connection. You can't beat that. And we also are joined by our wounded soldier who scored goals just for fun wherever she can, but she's still there on the sidelines, encouraging and even giving good support to the team of her bantery, bravery, and I'm going to say this for once, shithousery. It's Summer Roberts. Here she comes now. Hello.
Hey Johnny, you right?
I'm right, Summer. How are you?
I'm good, thanks for having me.
Not too bad. Looking very nice and looking all very looking forward to be on the show.
Summary.
Thank you. Yes, summary. Yes. I mean, if people are not seeing it right, she's all summary, even though she was born in spring.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And also, lastly, we also got one of the Spicy Reserve players who's happily so very eagerly to come on board. Let's welcome Alyssa Miranda. Hello.
Hi, Johnny. Thanks for having me. Such an
Um,
honor.
yes, it's such an honor to have you on board. And so very glad to have players here for the first time on this episode. So now, for anyone who's listening after the first episode, but anyone who's tuning into the episode now, this episode will be split into two different halves as a pun intended reference to the football match. The first half I'll be asking my guests about how they got into football in the first place, what drove them to play, what life of outside football do they do, like job wise, and if there was one thing, if it wasn't for football about what made them feel so special that really makes it click in their hearts and their memories that really intertwines what really made it special for them, where everyone will be right now for at least about 10, 15 minutes, but to be honest, we'll just play along and just update whatever. And second half, we will look into the recent results from Oktoberfest and fireworks in early November, right up to how did everyone got injured before forfeiting the match to prioritize resting and recovery and see if the upcoming matches for the rest of the November and December will see more or less all of them coming back, apart from a few who are still long-term absent. Also, where we'll be asking Alyssa on the Spicy Reserves update, how they've been doing from her side. And obviously, she'll tell me there's more games still coming up before Christmas. Now, it's on the Zoom call. If people are listening back, like wherever you are, be on the Apple Podcast, Spotify, on YouTube, as due to technical issues with the Mixer, it's not live for this occasion. So I send my sincere apologies for everyone who was looking forward to hearing it live. But the chili flames are still burning hot. I hope to get that sorted for the next one. So now let's begin with the first half right after this advert. And hello, and welcome to the first half. As a whistle blows, we can now discuss with our spicy guests in the hot seats, where they are sitting literally on the hot seats, of how they got into football in the first place. So now, one burning question to ask you, Erin, is how did you get into football how did you ended up in South London?
Well, probably everyone knows, but I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
America.
Where Summer's tuning in from, my homeland. And soccer was very prevalent still is very prevalent for young girls to play. Probably unlike here, because I feel like everyone on the team had to play with boys growing up. So yeah, it was very prevalent. It was just a normal thing to do. Like, I feel like as a 3-4-year-old, you played recreational soccer, gymnastics, ballet. You just did kind of all the activities. And my sister played soccer as well. She's 3 years older than me. And so I just followed in her footsteps, probably. I just wanted to be her. So, yeah, I stuck with it. I realized I was kind of good at it. And then I joined a competitive, select team where you have to try out and make the team. So again, there was like multiple different clubs I could have played for as an 8-year-old girl. So I joined one and just never looked back. Played for the same club my whole childhood. And yeah, it's just I realized I wasn't really good at any other sports, so at least I had soccer.
Well, that's very interesting. The way you said you grew up with a lot of, because I knew that in America they are known for playing you with better programs, unlike in the UK, for example, depending on the pathway of grassroots to football or soccer, as you have call it over there, which I don't mind saying soccer, which whichever you want to put it. But
I say football now, but when I'm
you say
talking
football.
about my past, it just doesn't say right to say football, so I got to
No.
revert back to soccer.
Yeah. Let's hope anyone American listeners listening out there, we say football here, but you call it soccer. But hey, that's fine. It's interchangeable, no matter
It
what.
is. Thanks, JP.
You're welcome.
So yeah, there was definitely a lot more opportunity to play, and then played in high school and in uni over in the States, and then yeah, decided to move to Europe. So didn't really look back from there.
So that's how you ended up in South London.
Yeah, I guess that's top lines. Do you want me to tell you the full story?
Well, I mean, if you can, I mean, you can say like how you end up in Europe. Say, how did that made you wanted to come to London in the first place?
Well, this is the $1 million question. I'm giving away my big secret.
Ooh.
I know. So listeners are getting a treat here.
Yeah.
So I went to uni in Milwaukee. I decided I wanted to experience other parts of the world. So I grew up and went to uni all in the same place. So I decided to do a teaching English as a second language program in Spain that one of my family friends did. So I was living in Madrid, and I thought I actually was going to retire from playing. I just was going to play for fun. But then I realized a year in, I just missed playing for like a competitive team. So I just started trialing at tons of different random Madrid clubs, and one stuck. So I was playing for a tier 2 team over there. So that was definitely an experience. It was during COVID as well. So no one else could travel outside of Madrid. But because we were getting testing every week, We were traveling throughout Spain to play our games, which was quite a cool experience. So yeah, I did that for 1 year, and then I just realized I wanted to try somewhere else out because I was in Madrid for 2 years at that point. So I decided London would be kind of a good way to stay in Europe, but try out a new place. There were some different sports management courses, master's courses that were interesting to me. So I did that. And then, yeah, got into a program, was going to play for the uni team. And actually, Ryan Dempsey was the coach for the uni team. So he asked if I wanted to play for a club team. And at first I was like, no, because I wanted to just focus on my master's, and playing for the uni team felt like enough. But then fast forward like 6 or 7 months, he invited me down to a Dutch game just to watch. I forget which, I wish I knew what game it was, but like Havana was playing, Asia was playing, I think Rio was playing, Brit. And it was just such a strong squad. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to be good enough to play for this team. But I joined anyways. And yeah, it's been amazing. So really, really happy that I joined. Just such a weird coincidence. And yeah, now I'm a Dutch girl through and through.
Well, Dutch American girl through and through. And well, thanks for sharing that, Erin. Very now we know the secrets of why she ends up in South London.
Now we know.
Yeah. No wonder why they sing that from the West Side Story. Coming to America. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. And now let's ask Summer Roberts this burning question. Now, how did you fell in love with football before you found yourself scoring banging goals?
Well, to be honest, I'm the oldest sibling and cousin and everything, so I was like the first child. So I didn't have any like siblings or anything influence me, but it was kind of my dad. He used to play football, my uncles played football, and my whole family just like they're very football orientated. Is that the word? Orientated.
Yeah.
Orientated. We're all big Spurs fans. Currently Spurs. And,
Boo.
I knew I was waiting for that. And yeah, so we've always gone to the games and just playing in the garden, and yeah, so it's pretty much my family that influenced me to start playing, and I haven't stopped since. Really, I've played for my school team from year 4, which is about, I think it's like 8 years old, and then yeah, since then I just didn't stop.
Just didn't stop banging some goals that you loved doing it for fun.
Never stopped, Johnny. Never stopped.
Never stopped. No wonder why I see the fiery temper in you. Like you, when you score, you'll be like, "I'm alive."
Yeah, you're so right.
Well,
We miss it.
Yeah, but don't worry. So yes, well, thanks for sharing that, Summer. And I mean, I want to ask a follow-up question to you, Summer, is that since you grew and love with football, partly with your family is all Spurs fans, which, all right, I'll let the Spurs fans slide this one. But to say, for someone like yourself who fell in love and you love scoring, obviously you have any idols you looked up to?
Yes, but he's not a Spurs player.
Oh.
My idol, and someone that I feel I'm very similar to is Wayne Rooney, a young Wayne
Oh,
Rooney.
Wait, you can't say that and then not show the picture.
no.
Johnny, we may need to show you a picture after this of Wayne Rooney
Yeah.
holding Summer as an infant.
Well, we'll focus on that after this podcast piece. Anyways, Summer, for sharing your story about how you banging up some goals.
No problem, Johnny.
All right, now Alyssa, for you play as a forward, don't you?
Yeah.
And how did you end up falling in love with the beautiful game?
Yeah, for me, kind of similar story to Erin's. Grew up in Houston, Texas. and was lucky to like experience all the different kinds of sports. I did gymnastics, basketball, track. Started playing soccer when I was 7. And then just grew up playing in different clubs for high school, uni. And at my uni, we were the like first inaugural women's soccer team. So that was really exciting, a big year for us. And just the emotional connection we had together as a team. Yeah, just that, and then just the beauty of football, soccer. You never know how it's going to be, but yeah, just amazing memories. And then when I came to London, I actually started playing for Millwall just because they were right next to my flat and it was really convenient for me.
Wow.
Yeah, but through a mutual friend, I actually met Erin when I first moved here. And then after a few seasons at Millwall, decided to leave, and Erin put in a good word for me with Ryan, and I came out to a trial, and here we are.
Wow. And so you live next door to the Den?
Close enough, not exactly to the Den,
No.
but where like the training session would be. So St. Paul's ground, I lived like right next to it.
Oh, okay. You've been to the Den, have you?
Yeah, yeah, I have. I was actually a ball girl for one of the men's games at the Den.
Oh, must be a hostile environment, has it?
Oh,
How
it's
did that
crazy.
happen?
Sorry?
How did that happen?
I don't know. I think just connections. Like a few of my teammates, like we were just ball girls at one of the games. It was horrible. It was raining, so that wasn't fun.
That's so funny.
Well, well, at least in typical British weather, it's never really knew about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, very interesting facts to ask you all about how you got into football, how you found a pathway that really made it special for you before you end up in the very place where all the spicy stuff that really let your flames out burning. Now, we love to play football, like whenever Sunday, well, mostly Sundays, but also maybe occasionally, like on some other days, like Wednesday is kind of Sunday, but not really the same, is it? But we do have jobs, on the other side of life to keep ourselves, thriving and surviving, whichever we love to relieve our stress. Like, I do exercises, I play football, after whenever I had a long day of work, for example. But I want to ask you from Erin, Summer, and Alyssa, what jobs do you do outside that keep yourself busy before you want to relieve your stress of playing or training?
I can start. I am an events manager for Crystal Palace. So I am in charge of hiring out all of the spaces within the stadium for various events, whether that's like a private celebration or corporate events or filming and anything in between.
Very interesting. I mean, I didn't knew that some of you. Well, there's something in connection about Crystal Palace. Like it's not about the pink and blue, but well, Palace is red and blue. So, how long you been with working for Crystal Palace for?
Good question. I think 3 years now, which is
Hmm?
crazy. So it's flown
Wow.
by. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Have you ever meet some of the Palace players, like men, women, academy players, often, or sometimes like depending on what events they're doing?
Yeah, I've met quite a few of them, not like just in passing, really. But yeah, they've all been really, really nice to staff and everything. So yeah, it's been fun.
Do they ever shout Eagles?
Eagles. No, they don't. Maybe in the dressing rooms, but not in any of my interactions.
No, not in like where you are. It's just like, corporate, formal, strict, is it?
We mean business.
Yep, business means business. No mucking about.
Exactly that.
And Summer, what do you do?
Um, I work in a pupil referral unit, so kids who have behavioural issues or learning difficulties. They kind of come to my school, and yeah, so it's very small classes. It's very chaotic, but it's never boring. So it's perfect for me.
So it's sort of like a teaching job or like something in that capacity.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like you're just kind of everywhere and you have to do everything. So if a child is having a hard time or uh kind of kicking off or can't do their work, like you kind of have to adapt to whatever scenario is going on. So it's kind of a all-round thing.
Wow. I mean, how many people like in that environment that you could fit in the classroom for like who are enrolled and make sure they get all the best support they need?
We normally have about 7 students per classroom and then about 3 staff per classroom.
For like one teacher and one-to-ones or like
Yeah.
TAs or which I think there is another term for TA, is it? Or is this like what do
Oh
you
no,
call
you can say
them?
TA, yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. There'll be one main teacher and then 2 support staff.
Mm. Okay. I mean, where I grew up in schools, I was in like in one of the units growing up in the smaller classrooms of like two, like from year five, no, year four to year six. And then I was in a secondary school in smaller classrooms up to say 10 or 11. I understand a lot of people, around like before in my time, I don't really see the difference about, people are different to you and me or to anyone out there. But at least, with some people now with no matter what difficulties, either moderate, mild, or severe, it's very what's the word like? It's a bit challenging now, like in this current situation of modern like how you see it than what you perceived or learned previously, is it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Each child is different and yeah, all got their own what's the word?
Yeah. No, yeah, you finish.
I can't think of the word, but yeah, they're all got their own amazing things in their own different ways, but you have to adapt to each of them, I guess.
Yeah, I understand that as, my friends who have similar of things that I have, but they have different traits of what makes people different. And compare that now, it's like it's really different, which
Mm,
is unique about it because otherwise there's nothing unique about how to help out someone who is more difficult to help.
very right, Johnny.
And well, I mean, so glad to you open it up, Summer. And well, yeah, I can understand like how you feel. I mean, my older sister, works as a school governor in that school in Cornwall for people with who are difficult, like as you said, in that environment. And I mean, she is a teacher as, she has like morals of responsibility as not only as a teacher, but also she's a mother. And I've got a wonderful niece who's 12.
Nice, nice.
And Alessa, what do you do?
Yeah, so I used to be a customer success manager for a health tech startup, but have been recently been made redundant. So
Oh
any
no.
listeners out there, connect with me on LinkedIn. Let me know if you're hiring. So at the time, I'm an unemployed stay-at-home dog mom.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear about that, Alessa.
It's okay. It's okay. No biggie.
So with the recent job you had before you got made redundant, how long you been working with them?
So I was at that company for like 3 years and a few months.
Mm,
Yeah.
well, I mean, 3 years doesn't seem that long, but it feels like a lifetime, does it?
Yeah, definitely. It did feel like a very long time, but hey ho, what you gonna do? These things happen, and so
Well, at least what you're doing in the moment is you're just like being a full-time mom, dog sitting, and hoping that whenever next training would be or games you play, you just like go straight out of the house and say, "All right, here I am going to training." But even if you know, I know it's very sad, like when people got made let go. Even like I know a friend of mine who works for Sainsbury's in one of the
Mhm.
branches not far from where I live, had said he was one of the few staff members been not been made redundant but stayed put where he is. But the rest, however, like the kitchen gourmet, that put the meat
Yeah.
out there, some of them have been made gone either to work for another branch somewhere or to
Hmm.
fill in a different position that's normally like not the position they wanted to fill in.
Right.
So I can understand like for I mean my friend said if that was me, I don't know where else I would be working because that's
Mhm.
like for him it's like local to travel when it's convenient. Even like say for you like that job you worked for, that was like a nice place to work because you made connections, establishments with your colleagues, but then may let go because of whether it's like budget cuts or like some changeover of structure that apparently had to let go people, which it's never really good news for some people. It's like say either you don't have to keep the job, you have to do it in another position, or if you don't have enough staff members to pay,
Hmm.
then it's like it's a sad, harsh, cruel reality, does it?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Well, well, I mean, again, I'm so sorry to hear that. Hopefully, whatever next job you will find, hopefully it's the right one that you feel is more special in your heart and the one
Yeah,
that
hopefully.
fits the
Yes, thank
requirements
you.
of skills and also whatever determined that you could do either what feel comfortable for you or try something outside the box.
Good idea, Johnny. I will definitely do that.
Right. And the last question is just before we go for a break, if there was one thing that it wasn't for football right now, where would you all be right now? Like, if it wasn't for football, what would you be doing differently, Erin?
Oh, good question. So what if I didn't have like if I didn't have football, what I would I be doing?
Yeah, if it wasn't for football, say that you fell in love when you grew up, what would you be doing differently?
Oh, like if I never got into football, where would I
Yeah.
be? Maybe I would be like a famous singer. I have a really good
Um,
singing voice, if you haven't heard already.
well, hey, what's going on?
What's going on? Yeah, so maybe I would have the chance to fine tune my singing voice and my stage presence.
Well, at least if we have our own version of a talent show that's not the X Factor or The Voice, I think it would be something specially made for anyone with raw talent, and you definitely would be qualifying for it.
Thanks, JP. We should have a talent show. That's a good idea. Maybe for our
Yes,
next social.
next time, probably in the new year.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And Summer, same question for you.
I would probably still be doing sports to be honest. I used to love basketball. That was probably my second after football. And fun fact, I used to be a cheerleader as well. So I'd probably be doing
Ooh,
some kind of sport, just not football.
cheerleading. If there's is there a nearby cheerleading? What cheerleading did you try that with?
Mine was called Bromley Gems Cheerleaders.
Oh,
Yeah.
how did that go?
Yeah, it was quite good. You just get shouted at most of the time, but it was fun, like jumping and flying around everywhere. So
At least it's not as like spectacle than the Dallas Cowboy cheerleading girls,
Yeah,
is it?
no. Well, I wasn't near that level, unfortunately. But maybe if it wasn't for football, maybe I would be.
Well, I mean, in the alternative universe, if there wasn't football, I think I can picture you somewhere right there.
Oh, great. Thanks, Johnny.
And Lessa, same question for you.
I think for me, I'd either still probably be in gymnastics or maybe still doing some hula dancing. I was a hula
Hmm.
dancer growing up. Would always
Hmm.
go to like different festivals or like private events. So yeah.
Well, I mean, I think one thing that we love about sports is keeping us like, no matter if it's football, athletics, gymnasium, or anything like in the capacity where we all feel comfortable about. Also, singing as well. We love to like sing our hearts out to make us feel like we are still enjoying our moments of hobbies and still having our jobs on the side, just to make sure there's more to life than, say, doing nothing, which is not really that exciting, is it?
Yeah, you gotta have your different hobbies and interests and passions. And it's probably good to have more than just football too.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, well, we have really enjoyed that interesting, spicy stuff we have been talking about. That's the end of the first half. We'll head into the second half right away after this. Okay, hello, welcome back to the second half. As the whistle blows for the next final part of the half, we'll be looking at the recent results in Oktoberfest and fireworks in November. What has happened to the team that forfeited the match against Lewis due to injuries occurred in the Dulwich camp? We'll be asking Alyssa for the Spicy Reserves latest update and for the upcoming fixtures for both the first team and the reserves as well. So let's have a look at the first team, shall we? So as it follows, since after the first episode, when we talked about, one thing that really caught my eye the most was the Swindon Town FA Cup match, which I will talk about in a little bit momentarily. So the recent results as follows: Swindon Town in the FA Cup, who Dulwich have lost to by a goal deficit, and then followed by a midweek match in the end of October, midweek against Chatham Town by losing 6-0. And the MK Dons at home with a bounce back now win 1-0. And then the final game just before the other game that was going to happen, but then it didn't, was against AFC Portchester in the Estonian League Cup, a loss of 2-0. The team are currently in ninth place with 3 wins, no draws, and 5 losses. Now, Erin, one match really stood out to me the most was in the last episode I talked about was I really thought the FA Cup match against Swindon was particularly the most enticing and exciting one that really caught my eye the most. I enjoyed the trip going up to the place I've never been to before, even though it was a bit of wet over there, very cold, although I wasn't feeling well for the last couple of days during that week, but I didn't felt that bad. I just felt a little bit, it was tingling in my system, but luckily I felt a bit better after that. But it was bitter to see, Dulwich go out of the prestigious competition in the English football by a goal deficit, despite Swindon were down to 10 players. I mean, Erin, how did everyone felt and what everyone tried to do when you were a goal down, despite they were down to 10 players? But it seems very difficult looking at it, is it?
Yeah, everyone was super disappointed, especially because I think the past few years we've had really great FA Cup runs, something that has been kind of at some points peak of the season, something we can really be proud of. Upsets at home in a way. Last year taking Lewis to pens. So yeah, we've been really, really great in the FA Cup. So I think that's why this one hurt pretty bad. We went in there thinking that it was a winnable game for sure. Obviously it's a long away day, but Swindon is in tier 4 as well. So yeah, we definitely went in confident and with high hopes, but sometimes, yeah, it just doesn't fall your way. But yeah, I mean, everyone tried their best and sometimes it's just not good enough. But even when they went down to 10 players, they just parked the bus, and it was really hard to break down. I think we definitely had a few chances. I think Asia was in. Jess, I think, hit the crossbar.
Yeah.
So yeah, we still had some decent chances, but we just couldn't convert any, which was very frustrating.
Well, I understand everyone's frustration, even from myself as a perspective. Really felt like everyone really tried. Even, the fans who travel all the way from Paddington or the Great Western to Swindon really gave, all the cheering hearts to cheer you on. Especially they were singing, your name, chanting. I also followed by
Yeah.
some few other players like Jody, for example. But also, I mean, for a for the, sorry, for the prestigious cup competition like that, it's very like, you know, kind of like, like the men's FA Cup and the oldest one in the world. It's like something that no one really, really, really gets that chance unless it's a top WSL club that really takes the cake or, for a large lion's share of it when it's not someone from Championship or below.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, I think you go into it not not exactly thinking that you're going to win it, but you definitely go into it just trying to get as far as you can. And the prize money makes a huge difference for the club, even though it's still not enough. Lauren Herrera did a really good job of campaigning equal FA Cup prize money, so that's why we all wore the shirts for warm up. So yeah, she got a few clubs to align with that, which was a really, really great effort.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, we just try to get as far as we can, and obviously it's a great chance to play some teams higher up, have some upsets, play in really nice facilities. But at the end of the day, everyone's up for it because it's such a, as you said, prestigious competition. But I mean, getting the chance to play at Swindon Stadium was incredible, and as you said, there was a strong group of the Pepper Army there, and we heard them the whole time. So that, I mean, it always helps to hear them in the stands the whole game, all 90 minutes, knowing that they've traveled so far and just pour their heart and soul into it. So we just try to match that on the pitch, and unfortunately, it just doesn't always go your way. But that being said, I think we can still be proud of the performance. Just a bit unlucky that we weren't able to get one in the back of the net.
well, I mean, I was going to say it about Lauren, who said that you said you all wore the shirts, and in the message to the FA that disparity of astronomical difference of prize money is still a long way to close the gap. Where say in the first round, the men's FA Cup first round prize for winners and losers is astronomically more higher, about I don't know, about say 70% more than the prize funds in the Women's FA Cup, what they get for winners and losers, be just bit that small amount. I mean, if people are not looking on the video, but what I'm describing, it's kind of like in the little bag of pockets of money, of shillings like that.
Yeah,
And
it's not good enough. I
no,
don't know the exact stats of the differences, but it is very significant. And you just think in this day and age, So if it would do something about it, but here we are.
Well, here we are. I mean, one day in the future, if the FA really wants to put something of closing the gap for all the women's clubs, especially like, Lewis were the other example prime of equality. They're known for putting out its equality mantra of, it's entwined in their niche culture, like bringing it out. I mean, I know a lot of clubs don't have what Lewis had, but at least it's spreading the good awareness about having clubs like yourselves, Dulwich, or even like other clubs. Like, the prize money might not be as that much, no matter what team you're in, what league you're participating representative of, but it's still a long way for the FA to just to look at it, saying the women's football's growing for any players like who are not in the WSL or Championship, for example. Look at the clubs below who might not have something like that to use it for greater good. What benefits do you want to use it for? Something for the community, something for the facility, something for like everyone to like be in this together.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the reasons why you play for a club like Dulwich, because they're not afraid to speak out for what's right. And we're relentless about it as well. And that's all. Sometimes you can control is just using your voice and your platform. So yeah.
And Summer, I want to ask you, you were at the FA Cup match watching on the sidelines, weren't you?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
So for yourself, when you're watching on the sidelines, in the dugout, encouraging your comrades, to keep them going, no matter what, how difficult and how very difficult the game was. It's very like different to as opposed to when you were playing on the pitch before. Do you see the difference? Like when someone say shout, you say Summer, score some goals, or when you're just like on the sidelines for the time being, which we'll ask about, how the injury recovery is. But is it different, like for yourself watching that you thought it's difficult when you're not playing, when you're like just encouraging everyone?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I get a mix of emotions watching from the side because I love watching football, especially Dulwich, obviously. But it is frustrating to watch sometimes, like especially when we lose or like if because you're kind of there and you can't help and you feel like like you can't really do anything. And I also can't fully relate to like the ups and some of the downs and that Dulwich have at the moment because I'm not playing and because I'm not on the field. But being in and around the team still whilst not playing has definitely kept me motivated with my own rehab, and it always feels good supporting the girls off the pitch. Hopefully not for too long though, but yeah.
We'll ask about your recovery at the moment, but first I just want to say to Alyssa now, for the first time now, I'll get to ask you, which I will read the results of how the season's been so far. So you had pre-season steadily as follows. Ipswich United friendly with a 2-0 win, followed by Millwall Lionesses with a 2-0 loss against your former club. I was actually one of the matches actually against White Leaf. Is that correct?
Whiteleaf, yeah.
Yeah, White Leaf. Yes, losing 3-2, which was very, very, very bitter to see that narrow margin. But I mean, it was a friendly, but at least it was about testing everyone, getting yourself more moving. And then last friendly was against Ellsworth with a 2-0 win. And then as the season started, looking at the read of the results, mostly in the league, was the last two have been the cup runs, which we'll talk about that. Soccer Elite winning 5-1. Ashford United 2-1. That's 2 wins on the bounce. Before playing against Hammersmith, losing by a goal deficit, and then followed by a 2-0 loss to Bromley FC, and then followed by a bounce back narrow, thrilling 7-goal thriller game against Hackney, and then Herne Bay 3-1. And then Richmond and Q, which was one of the other games I've been to watch your team at Champion Hill, which is, I will ask like in a moment, was a 2-1. And then followed by Home Bay losing to 5-0, which, although it didn't say on the website, but however, I checked it on the Facebook group. So, like, Ian always posts the updates on there just to like clarify what was happening. And then followed by the last two matches, right up to date, the last 2 weeks in the space of in the cup competition, which was the London and South East Regional Women's League Cup, winning against your former club Millwall Lionesses by a narrow of 2-1, and Islington Borough, which I came for the second half because I got caught up with something earlier that day, but I came in time just to see how everyone was doing and winning by 5-0. Now, currently the reserves are fifth in their league in the Division North table with 6 wins, 0 draws, and 3 losses. So, Alyssa, how do you say the reserves have been doing recently so far?
Yeah, I say we're in a good place right now. We've shown what we could do, especially playing against teams in the league above us. And even in the games we've lost, there have been some positives. Getting back to winning ways, we've gained some real momentum. So, yeah, just progressing every week, and we'll see that in the following games.
And Alyssa, when you joined Dulwich Hamlet in the first place, like when you joined them, I mean, you get the first team and the reserve team are sort of intertwined when it comes to like either when the reserves get some opportunities to play out with the first team, like Erin and Summer, for example, or whenever the first team players might be asked to play with the reserves, depending on the eligibility of players to fill in or to play whenever they want to. Like when you first joined, I forgot to ask. For me, when you joined, would you ask to join the first team or the reserves?
Um, well, for me, I was just trying to get into either team, to be honest. Would have been happy with either. Um, Having the opportunity to play for the first would always be a great opportunity. But yeah, I mean, we all play for the same club, so shouldn't be no reason why we like can't interchange, especially when injuries come about. Um, so yeah, and we're all playing football here to help each other out. So yeah.
Well, I mean, speaking of injuries, which brings up to my next point about as soon as after the first team's last match against AFC Portchester, I saw an update on my phone on the Friday evening. I was on my way to training that an email from Lewis emailed regarding about the Women's National League Cup game on the 9th of November was called off due to a number of injuries that Dulwich Hamlet had picked up somewhere in between the results, as I mentioned above, and afterwards. And Ben Clasper put a statement reading the club recognizes that this is a huge disappointment, not just for our dedicated fans who are looking forward to an exciting fixture, but also the players and the whole club. He later added that it was not a decision that was taken lightly, and the club has worked hard since Wednesday night after against AFC Portchester to do everything possible to fulfill that fixture. But the priority will always be the well-being for our players. It would be very clear failure of the club's duty of care if they ask players to perform when not fit. Now, Erin, I've never seen this serious situation ever in my entire life to see this before, where the majority of players are injured and can't fulfill the match with less than how many was it, like 9 players last time against Portchester. It's very distressing to see, like, how did you feel about that decision?
I think the club wouldn't have made the decision if the situation wasn't serious. So yeah, it's just super unfortunate. But yeah, at the same time, like as and said we need to prioritize our players, and you don't want to be forcing anyone to play who has a tweak and could get injured worse. So yeah, with Portchester, like I think we ended the game. I think we had like 3 injuries in the last 20 minutes or so, which kind of forced us to play down a few players for the last 15. And yeah, just unfortunately that was the Wednesday before we were supposed to play on Sunday. So it just really limited our personnel for Sunday. But yeah, I know that Britt and Ben and the club made the decision with kind of our welfare as top priority. So yeah, but obviously super disappointing and unfortunate. And I know the players, the club, and the fans were probably all very disappointed.
And it's sad to see injuries that can happen in the women's football or whichever sports where most female athletes get more time to be treated off with severe injuries than male athletes. Whenever, for instance, it's like a ACL, for example, as the most common stigma of the injury that's kind of like saying it's like a flu in sports, but I'm not saying that's the same. That's probably a bad comparison to say. But I'd say, recent years, like injuries with no matter which club you play for, either a big one or small one, that either had, the resources or don't have resources, that not even me or anyone knows, like, for ACL injuries, what's the solution is to prevent it that's so severe. I mean, it's unknown, but until we know what else is out there. And Summer, as you mentioned, that you have been sidelined since the beginning of last season, which was in pre-season, that looked like you came close of coming back at some point before this season on the pitch. But you had correct me, you said you had have to sort out with some injury, which means a longer way to return. How are you doing recovering right now?
I'm doing quite well. I mean, I'm 3 months post-op now. Obviously, like you said, I was off and out for about a year before my surgery. So it does feel really dragged on and long, which is annoying. But it was quite an intense injury, which was kind of hard to identify at first. So going through loads of, surgeons and appointments and stuff, we finally got there. But yeah, 3 months post-op now. And it's going all right. I mean, it's a bit boring. Like I can't run or anything still. It's just mainly gym work every day, which is tedious and yeah, not the funnest, but it has to be done, doesn't it? So
Yeah, I hope whichever the time you take, hoping you feel better soon as when it's time for you to like start doing what other players are doing when they're post recovery, so that way it doesn't like feel too rushed for you.
yeah, exactly. I've still got one part of my hip bone left to heal, but hopefully
Yeah.
that will be healed by Christmas, and then I can start doing a bit more.
Well, I mean, you're not the only one who's out with a long-term injury. Depending on how severe that, it's not like it's straightforward like a couple months out or year out, but also like Ceylon Hickman have been resting last month after suffering appendicitis. Is that the right word I'm saying, Erin?
Appendicitis.
Thank you.
Yeah, appendicitis.
Appendicitis. Well, on
Yeah, she
holiday.
had to get an appendectomy.
Yeah, which it happened while you were on holiday, weren't you? Which
Yeah, bless her. She's had a tough start to 30. We
Well,
were in Spain for her 30th birthday, at her parents' house, and she just started having severe stomach pains, and we put it off for about 4 days, and then realized that she had appendicitis. So she had to get emergency surgery when we landed back in London. But she's doing okay. She's a tough cookie. She'll be back soon, no
well,
doubt.
it's good. That's good to hear. I was going to ask like how Sealand's doing, but at least you answered the question before I even was going to ask you. So also speaking of injuries, Alyssa, has anyone in the reserves have been out with injuries recently?
Well, Emily has been out for a while, but hopefully she'll be back soon. She started running recently, so I think she's hopefully planning to come back in January. So that'll be exciting. And then also Anna is out, I think for a few more weeks. I'm not entirely sure, but I think she has a foot injury. She's been walking around with a boot, so
Hmm.
hopefully she'll be back with us soon.
Well, I mean, with injuries like that, there's this player I just saw online recently called Lucia Connolly Bram, who I knew her from Lewis, but moved to Hatcher United this year. And in her last game against Oxford United, she limped up in what seemed to be her final appearance prematurely with an ACL, MCL, and LCO injuries. And the club can't afford to get her surgery quickly because there's a waiting list, takes more than a year. So what she did instead was she started a fundraising campaign and hopefully for people to donate smaller amount or large to like help her to get her reconstruction of all the injuries and rehabilitation quicker so she can have a plan to a long road recovery. Hopefully by next year she'll be healed. Now I'm just going to check like how much she has spent, well, how much she has raised so far on the GoFundMe page. She has raised about £8,847, about 74% rising. She's close to 12K she needs to get a surgery required. It really takes a lot of guts for someone like her. But in the football we love, rather than sitting out and call it a day, if there's a light of hope, it only matters. It's in a matter of time or a matter of life or death to pull it yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's brave for her to start a GoFundMe, definitely. I mean, I probably should have done that because it saved my family quite a lot of money. But
Mm.
I actually saw on her thing that I think Reece James donated like £2,000 to it.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's
I'm pretty
crazy.
sure that's what I saw. So I mean, like, it's ridiculous that like women in football have to ask, their friends on the internet for money to be able to play. But it's nice as well to see that people will support and like kind of come together to help with it.
Shout out Tia as well. She just went through ACL surgery and it went super well. So, yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
wishing her a speedy recovery.
TT.
Yeah, hopefully she'll recover soon. Now, we hope like for everyone at Dulwich Hamlet, for every players who are going through a lot worse or how minor it is to get well soon, especially Ceylon, someone like her, she's a tough cookie because I can tell, she really like takes it in, kind of like reminds me of me. Like I just rather get along with it, but also, health and well-being is the first and foremost priority we take, then risking ourselves, even if we forfeit or postpone the matches, doesn't mean we're not like giving up on games. It's just that if no one's available to fill up in a match fit squad, let alone for like someone who's still long-term absent, but we want to like, maintain a few from further consequences, like repercussions of if you play with an injury, that's it. You'd probably be a year or so out because of the consequences that if the club doesn't take that seriously and the players don't feel comfortable, then what else do they have to do? Yes, I know from the administrative side, when you say to Lewis that we have to forfeit our games, that means, what they did, they had to pay the fines of what they had to do when forfeiting a match, meaning it's a walkover and Lewis have progressed through to the next round. But at least, let me say this, it doesn't cost our health like yourselves, as you rather be standing alive than lying on the pitch, is it?
Yeah, exactly that, JP. You've got it. You've got it right there. And yeah, it wasn't a decision taken lightly, but at the same time, I think everyone should be on the mend hopefully soon. And yeah, we just need to stay positive for the remainder of the season and keep hopes high and get some good results.
Yes, we have to keep our fiery chest up and lively as
Keep it
we'll look.
spicy.
Yes, keep it spicy. Yes, spicy football. Now, speaking of spicy football for both teams, let's start with the first team. Like for Erin, yourself, and Summer, the first team have got few games left to play for remainder of November, going into right before Christmas. This Sunday, on the 23rd of November, is against AFC Sudbury, followed by a home match on the 30th of November against Aptians, and then followed by the last two matches in December, Norwich City away on the 7th of December, before rounding off the final game of the calendar year against Luton Town. Which one of the games, Erin and Summer, which one of the games really caught your eye the most of one of the final remaining fixtures left to play?
Ooh, good question. I think Norwich got the best of us last season, so it'd be good to get a result against them. And then, yeah, I'd say the two home fixtures, to be honest. I think we play our best football at Champion Hill. So, yeah, and I think Actonians and Luton Town are both winnable games. So hopefully this next stretch we can get some good results and start feeling confident and climb the ladder a little bit in the table.
Yeah, I agree with Erin. The home games defo stand out. Nowhere better than to play at home. And yeah, definitely both winnable games as well, hopefully.
Yeah. And Alyssa, now I've brought something on here, but I think you've got to correct me on this. There is more than few games left before you play the final game against Hammersmith on the 7th of December, is it?
Yeah, so we have two games before that. So this coming Sunday, we have a league game at home against Camden Town. And then the following week, it's League Cup third round against Ashford Town, who are in the league above, which will be at home as well. So both really important games.
And then that's where before you play the final game against Hammersmith, and then Christmas break for you all.
Woo!
Well, I mean, well, I'm gonna say this is really wonderful, everyone, and that is all the time we have. I would like to, thank you, my spicy friends, Erin, Summer, and Alyssa, for coming on board.
Thanks for having us, Johnny. Had a great time.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us, JP.
Yes, thank you. And if you really wanted to listen back on the show, everyone listening back live, well, listen back on your devices. It's not live. Sorry, my mistake. Also habit. It's on the Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Will be available when I get this one out, so you can listen to the first two episodes back to back on what playlist you'll be listening back on. If you ever want to come on the next episode, I'm going to tell you all right now, is Monday the 15th of December, the day after the last home game against Luton. Whee!
Nice.
Woo!
So if anyone listening back wants to get in touch, it's on Instagram, Spice on the Hill, DHFCW. And now I have signed up on X Twitter. It's just simply Spice on the Hill. Alternatively, you can email me. That's Johnny _Hourigan, which is like Corrigan, but my surname spells HOURIGAN @hotmail.co.uk with the subject Spicy Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Hourigan, and I'll see you all on the 15th, a week before Christmas. And who's up for the Christmas spicy spirits? Everyone, raise your hands.
Yeah.
Hey. I remember, somewhere over the hills, wherever you are, let's keep it burning hot. Ooh, I feel the hot.
Keep it spicy.
Yes, keep it spicy, people. Anyways, take care, everyone.
Thanks, Johnny.
And see you on the 15th.